So Mike, tell us about filming the police in Portland, and how do you strategize? How do you plan out your shoots, where you're going to go and what you're going to do?
Well, here's the thing. We usually meet up at Right in a Dream 2, which is right in the middle of downtown Portland. And the idea is that no one films alone. You know, you get one person to get the close-up action and one person to stand back at a wide angle shooting what's going on that the first person's shooting, but the police and the first person is closer to them, so that everyone is covered. And the idea is to promote accountability through scrutiny. You know, the police have proved time and time again throughout American history that they can't be trusted to investigate themselves. And now, since the advent of the internet and this 21st century, they can't be trusted to monitor and even accurately, portray what's going on, even though they have body cameras, even though they have cameras inside their cars now, that they mysteriously, have technical difficulties. And, well, the people have to take on that role and monitor the police, and that's the idea, is to promote accountability through scrutiny and to basically police the police and make sure that everything's on the up and up.
So what kind of gear are we working with?
Well, what I'm shooting with is a Canon T3i, and it's got a Sigma 1770 wide-angle telephoto lens on top. And then we have the Sennheiser shotgun mic, which basically it's a directional microphone. It cuts out everything kind of behind me and picks up audio that's more in front of me. And I prefer to use a battery grip. It gives the camera a little bit more weight. And this is basically a DSLR camera.
So you're talking about not doing this alone. You got a couple people with you tonight?
Yeah, I have Bob and what's your buddy's name? Alan. Bob and Alan's new. This is the first time he's come. But usually I kind of walk people through a basic training. If the police ask you to step back, it's very important to not get in their way and give them room to work. You know, as long as they're not trying to impede your ability to document, I wouldn't say challenge them on that. When a cop asks me to take a step back, you know what I say? Sure, officer, I'll take 2 steps back. And I point the camera at my feet and document myself walking backwards. Something else is an important tactic is some police forces don't like being filmed. So, always film yourself walking through the crosswalk in the green to arrive at a scene, because if the police mess with you or harass you or try something that's shady, just document. The truth is in the documentation. Alex is a crazy-ass Pisces like me. We are certifiably insane. I mean, I've been, accused of being psychotic for years, and it's not really an accusation at this point. Now it's just reality. I've embraced it.
So Mike, we're coming up on an area that's been turned into somewhat of a homeless encampment. What can you tell us about it, and when did this start?
Well, this is Right in Dream 2, and I'm not exactly sure the exact date it started, but it started pre-Occupy in 2011, and they basically had to fight the city through a massive legal battle to actually set up this, it's called a resting station, and there's rules. You have to, you can't be flagrantly doing drugs or certain hours that you can sleep in this place, and it's a community-ran thing for mutual aid. The mayor thought it would be a good idea, since there was a lot of nuisance, a lot of public nuisance, because there's a lot of bars in this one little area, and the streets are shaped like a T right here. This is one end of the T, and then there's 3 more. North, south, east, and this is west. Okay, so the idea is to have the drunks kind of like have a place to be, and they don't have to like walk in traffic. And it's actually prevented a lot of accidents and just a lot of public nuisance. So it's actually a city policy that I kind of agree with. I like it when Officer Taylor treats me to a foot chase, because I call him the cheetah. You know Taylor, right? Yeah, he's pretty fast on his feet, you have to admit. So how have you been lately? Not right right now, can't complain. All right on.
Are they doing a documentary?
He's doing a micro doc today of what's going on with Film the Police Portland.
Oh hey, I get 3 people to film.
It's just a big party, man.
It's Burning Man. Woo! No,
all kinds of pretty lights and all that.
He's filming, you're
yeah,
filming.
it's a triangle.
I want to film the people filming.
And if we do this together,
doing a documentary on people who film cops in Portland.
So am I.
Really?
Yeah. And what you're seeing here is likely someone that's intoxicated, and the fire department was just here checking on the man's well-being. And Mike Smith is here with Bob, with the other Film the Police volunteer that's come tonight. So there's 3 of them, and they are just here as a presence.
Hey, so we're here with a homeless gentleman, and the officer could be citing him for no trespassing because he's kind of passed out leaning on a pole right over here underneath a no trespassing sign. But the officer is just going to call social detox to get the guy some medical help. Basically, we have a service here in Portland called Cheers, and they take people that are drunk or incapacitated and give them some cookies and some Gatorade. I've had homeless friends that have been abused by police, during a quote-unquote innocuous police encounter, so it's always best to just let the police know that you're filming and that you're observing, and then I think people are well behaved when they're being filmed. So we're here to let the Portland Police Bureau know that they're being watched, they're being scrutinized, and our cameras can't accidentally have technical difficulties. One of the reasons why we do this, Film the Police Portland, is the James Chassie case. There's a mentally ill fellow that was beaten to death by Portland Police Bureau for committing the crime of public urination. Standard policy for Portland Police Bureau is when someone's been roughed up or they appear hurt, is that they call for ambulance to come out and medical to come out and check the person out. Well, in the case of James Chassie, medical came and cleared him for transport to the Portland Police Bureau's jail, which we call the Justice Center. Now, as soon as James Chassie was transported to the jail, the nurse took one look at him and said, "This guy is going to die. Take him to the hospital." He died in transit. Something else very horrible that came out in James Chassie's case is that police alleged the reason that they beat him to death, or that they had to be so rough, is that he was on drugs. Well, it turns out that the police found a pristine, empty drug baggie on him, and that's what they used for evidence to allege that he was on drugs. So basically, Judge Dredd in Portland, Oregon, beat a man to death for the crime of public urination.
And that's why you do what you do.
It's one of the primary reasons why I started this, is because I was so outraged by what happened to James Chassie. That man was beat to death very brutally, and what I find very egregious about it is that the system of collusion that it seems between the mainstream media and Portland Police Bureau. As far as cities go, we have a very good police force. I've lived in a lot of places that are a lot worse. I've lived in Oakland, California. I've lived in parts of Missouri. I've lived in New Orleans for a little while. And I can tell you that our cops are a lot better than some other places. But when they do screw up, there is a stone wall of corruption and collusion between City Hall, and it's very hard to get any accountability. So therefore, it's incumbent upon the citizenry to get cameras, and the court of public opinion is always open. We got a film crew over there, somebody with a really nice camera, like shadowing Strohmeyer.
$10 off your cover. There you go. Perfect, thank you. Here you go, gentlemen.
People, it's amazing how many people crosswalk, you know what I mean?
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, when you get about 1 o'clock, between 1 and 3, things get crazy around downtown. And, when you mix in, think about it, when people go in the bars, they drink, right? And they're sitting, they're sedentary, or they're sitting at the bar, and they get drunk. They don't know how drunk they are, and then when they get outside, there's like a rush of cold air on their body, and they're like, staggering towards their car. This is an epicenter for douchebaggery in Portland, Oregon. At the end of the street there, I don't know what that is, but I need to check it out.
This is a point I think is very important to stress to those in uniform and to those in the dark suits in government who are serving this system while not actually instigating it, they're serving it. You have no power. I don't care if you're in the military. I don't care if you've got how many kind of stars on your uniform. I don't care what level of the police force you're in. I don't care if you're doing roadblocks. I don't care if you're pulling people off the street. I don't care what you're doing. You have no power. Your uniform has the power. Take your uniform uniform off, okay? Put it in the wardrobe. Where's your power? Go and get another job without that uniform. Where's your power? You have no power. You are employed to animate that uniform, which is an extension of the state, and that's all you are, and therefore you are expendable. While you give your soul away, while you give your mind away, while you give your morals and decency away, advancing this fascist dictatorship, you will be okay with the fascists that you're serving. But your children and your grandchildren have to live in the world you are creating. And one day you're going to have to understand that, and I don't envy you that moment, because it's going to be horrific when it dawns upon you the world that you've actually created. The people in uniform and the dark suits that administer the system while not being the originators of it, they have to start breaking ranks, okay? Get some backbone, open your mind, look at what's going on, and get some frickin' backbone before you administer and impose and enforce a world that will be grotesque for your children and grandchildren.